Let me ask you something that no one dares to say out loud. Have you ever felt invisible to the woman you wanted most? That gut-wrenching moment when you see her laugh at another man's joke, look past you like you don't exist, and you're left wondering, what do they have that I don't? Here's the truth. It's not about your looks. It's not about your money. It's about presence, psychology, and energy. Women don't fall for the flashiest man in the room. They fall for the one who understands the silent language they speak. And if you give me just 8 minutes, I'll show you how to become that man. This video isn't some clickbait fantasy. This is a psychological blueprint forged through experience, philosophy, and a deep understanding of human behavior. You're about to uncover what most men never learn until it's too late. The truth that every high-value man eventually discovers. If you're tired of chasing and ready to attract, if you're done doubting and ready to command presence, then lock in, because what you'll learn today will change how women see you forever. Number 1, the magnetic power of emotional control. A man who controls his emotions controls the entire room. You see, the average guy reacts. He gets flustered when a woman tests him, loses confidence when she pulls away, and tries to force attraction. But the man who can remain calm, grounded like an immovable mountain, instantly becomes magnetic. Why? Because emotional control signals certainty, and certainty is the one thing women instinctively chase. A woman may not articulate it, but when she sees a man who doesn't flinch in chaos, who doesn't seek her validation, she senses he's different. Stoic philosophy teaches, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Master this truth, and you master attraction. Think of it like this. Imagine you're in a crowded bar. 2 guys are trying to impress the same woman. One's cracking jokes nervously, fidgeting with his drink. The other sits calmly, observant, speaking only when necessary. But every word cuts through the noise. Guess who she's drawn to? Women test emotional boundaries to find out who you are beneath the mask. Pass the test, not by resisting, but by detaching. She flirts, then ignores. You stay centered. She complains. You listen without reacting. You don't try to fix, you just are. Mastering emotional control is the first key to becoming the man every woman wants. Number 2, the unspoken rule of subtle dominance. You don't need to shout to lead. In fact, the most powerful men lead in silence. Subtle dominance is the art of moving with quiet certainty, owning your space, and making decisions with unapologetic intent. A woman doesn't want to be controlled. She wants to feel safe with a man who controls himself and his world. That's the real game. When you say what you mean what you say, and move through life with a sense of purpose, you radiate leadership. Psychologically, this taps into evolutionary attraction triggers. Women are wired to seek protectors, not in a brute force sense, but in presence. When you walk into a room with your shoulders back, eyes steady, voice calm, you don't need to ask for attention. You become the frame everyone adjusts to. Here's a real-world example. You're out with a woman and she says, "I don't know what to eat." The average man says, "Whatever you want." The high-value man says, "Let's get sushi. I know a place." Not because he's arrogant, but because he trusts himself. Subtle dominance isn't controlling her. It's showing her that you're already in control of yourself. And once she feels that energy, her attraction becomes instinctual. Number 3, the irresistible force of deep presence. In a world addicted to distraction, a man who is fully present becomes rare and irresistible. Presence means you're not just physically there. You're mentally, emotionally, and spiritually locked in. When she speaks, you don't listen to respond. You listen to understand. Your eyes don't wander. Your phone doesn't interrupt, and your mind doesn't drift. This depth of focus creates a profound psychological effect. It makes her feel seen, safe, and special. Emotions women crave more than compliments or gifts. In that moment, you become unforgettable. Why does this work? Because most men operate on autopilot. They give robotic replies, half listen, or constantly try to impress. But when you slow down, lean in, and absorb her with full awareness, you trigger emotional intimacy, the deepest level of attraction. Think about this. Ever talk to someone who made the rest of the world disappear? Who made you feel like the only person in the room? That's the power of presence. You don't need lines or tricks. You just need to be there, fully. And the beautiful irony? When you give your presence without needing anything back, she'll chase yours in return. Because women don't fall for words. They fall for how you make them feel. And nothing feels more intoxicating than a man who's fully there. Number 4, the dangerous allure of mystery and detachment. If you want to ignite curiosity in a woman's mind, don't reveal everything. Leave space. Leave questions. Leave a little silence. Most men try too hard. They overshare, overtext, overexplain, because they think connection is built through constant closeness. But real desire, real obsession, it's born in uncertainty. Psychologically, this taps into what's known as the Zeigarnik effect. People remember unfinished tasks more than completed ones. If she doesn't know everything about you, if she feels like there's always more to learn, she stays engaged, hooked, even haunted. Mystery doesn't mean being cold or fake. It means having depth, a life that doesn't revolve around her. It means you're busy because your time is sacred. You share selectively, not strategically, but authentically. You let her wonder. And here's the twist. When a woman wonders about you, she invests in you emotionally. And the more she invests, the more her desire grows. That's the dangerous power of mystery. Don't be an open book. Be a compelling novel with pages she has to earn. When she texts, don't always reply instantly. When she asks questions, give answers with weight. Let silence speak louder than your words. Mystery is not about being aloof. It's about protecting your essence. And that essence, when guarded, becomes irresistible. Number 5, the unshakable confidence of self-validation. Attraction begins and ends with one thing: how much you need her validation. If your self-worth rises and falls based on her response, her attention, or her approval, you've already lost. But when you validate yourself, when your confidence is built from within, you become untouchable. Women can feel the difference. The man who needs her smile to feel good about himself is needy. The man who already feels whole and simply invites her in, he's magnetic. Think of it this way. If you walk into a room and think, "I hope they like me," you shrink. But if you walk in thinking, "I hope I like them," you expand. That shift changes everything. Psychologically, this is the core of inner game. Your beliefs, your self-image, your emotional resilience. A man who validates himself is dangerous because no one can manipulate him. He doesn't fold when she pulls back. He doesn't chase when she tests. He simply continues being the prize. This doesn't mean arrogance. It means authentic self-worth. Build it through discipline, purpose, and self-respect. Wake up early. Train your body. Master your mind. Become the kind of man you admire, and women will too. Because when you're enough for yourself, that's when you become more than enough for her. Conclusion. Let's be clear. You don't need tricks to get every woman you want. You need transformation. It starts with mastering your emotions, becoming that calm, composed presence that women crave in chaos. It deepens with subtle dominance, leading without forcing. It intensifies through full presence, making her feel truly seen. It ignites with mystery, letting her feel the tension of the unknown. And it locks in with self-validation, knowing that your worth isn't determined by her reaction. You're not here to beg for attraction. You're here to command it by who you are. The man who wins isn't the loudest, richest, or best looking. It's the man who walks through the world with clarity, purpose, and emotional gravity. And that man? He's who you were always meant to become. So now it's your move. If this awakens something in you, subscribe, because this is just the beginning of your evolution. Share this with someone who needs to rise. Drop a comment below. Which lesson hit you the hardest? Because if you give yourself permission to grow into this version of yourself, you won't chase women. They'll chase you. And that is the silent power of becoming a man worth wanting.